What we do here is go back.
Yo.
You bet 1,500 on the turn. It was tiny.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody has had a good start to their day. Welcome to the coverage of Day 2 of the DRACAKIS Players Championships here at the APT Series at Eatons Hill. My name is Jordan Bromley, joined as always by my co-commentator Corey Van Jarsveld. How are you going, Corey?
Good, Jordan. What's up, everyone? Thanks for joining us today. Got some exciting poker ahead. Jordan, I believe we are coming very, very close to the money bubble. Is that correct?
I believe that is the case. So we've got our top 12 players paid here in this event. As you can see in the top right of the screen there, we have 16 remaining. So this one, 12 is going to be taking home $3,000, with our winner today taking home $39,000 for their efforts. And from what I understand, we've got a few notable names here on this feature table. So we see Mr. Martin Ward, a regular here, right next to Gary Benson. And it looks like Martin's straight into the tank here with 10 big blinds and ace-10 suited under the gun.
Giving this one some thought. I'd like to see him pile this in. It can be a bit scary from under the gun, though. Off just 11 bigs.
See one
not
raises.
much more time to wait.
To 45,000. See 2 faults. See 3 faults. See 4 faults. See 5 faults. See 6 faults.
And he decides to basically jam it in. Leaves himself a little bit behind. And, geez, he's going to run right into it. Straight into the action here at the DRACAKIS Players Championships. Will's picked up the honeys in the small blind. Going to be giving Martin a spin here. I'll be looking for an ace or some clubs.
Yeah, the just call from Will trying to induce something from Karina in the big blind, and that is a flop where the rest of the biscuits are going to be going in.
And a call.
I've got some outs.
100,000 is going to be enough to cover Martin, who puts in his remaining 11k. And Martin has decent odds here to potentially find a double. Needs to try to pick up one of those clubs or an ace. 9 outs, top right of screen.
Here we go.
Turn card.
10 first.
I'll put him down further so it makes doesn't happen.
GG.
You'll 6 it on.
Isn't going to help him.
Don't do that.
Get you, get him
Stand
every
up,
card
equity.
goes
The only thing I had
big
left.
though,
Nothing
as
else
we
left.
heard Martin saying GG there. Not the case. Is going to find the full Michael Double, 122k going his way, back up to 24 and a bit big blinds.
Well, Jordan, yesterday was the story of the river. A
As you
lot of really nasty rivers on our Goliath final table broadcast last night. And it looks like that theme is going to continue here today in the DRACAKIS Players Championships. And one hand in, we've already had one river suck out. The beneficiary of that's going to get him healthily above that 20 big blind mark. Give him a bit of room to move as we approach the money bubble.
Yeah, I don't know if Will was watching the stream enough yesterday. He would have noticed that the river was just always getting people to double. So if I was him, I probably would have just folded pre, knowing that the flush is probably inevitable.
Oh, you can't win a tournament without getting lucky sometimes.
That's right.
Yeah, Tyler's got a good point. The stand-up equity and the GG equity.
Well played.
Oh yeah, you got to make sure you're doing everything you possibly can.
I nearly had queens. I looked at queens.
See 2 raises to 10,500. See 3 faults.
See Gary here opening up the 5s under the gun.
See 5 faults.
Touch over 2 bigs. Did see Kai there following the ace-jack offsuit versus the under the gun open.
Table's high.
Yeah, gee.
I feel like a little toddler.
I don't like sound like a nut, but I think his chairs are wide and the table's good.
See 6 faults. See 7 faults. See 8 faults.
Greg gonna peel the king 10 off from the cutoff here.
Spicy. Get you into a bit of trouble against an under the gun razor, but he is flipping in this case.
And for those of you
defending hand here for Martin.
For those of you that have played with Mr. Ward before, you know that these decisions aren't going to be done quickly. Not a shot clock event, so he's going to take all the time he wants to make his decisions. Does eventually put the call in. 3-way to a flop here. Relatively interesting one for everybody but Gary. Martin with a club and a gut shot. Greg with middle pair and a gut shot as well. Mr. Benson with the betting lead. Does decide to check.
He doesn't want to c-bet this board into 2 opponents. Probably pretty much given up on his 5s here.
And turn card is good for a couple of guys not named Gary. As we see both Martin and Greg finding Broadway on the turn. Martin checks it again.
Now, there is that flush draw on board, so I expect Greg to flick a bet out here. Try and build this pot up a little bit. Obviously his hand is the nuts at the moment.
See 6 bets, it's 1,000.
Half pot. Amanda cheering on Mr. Benson. He's going to need a little bit more help than possible to try and win this pot.
See 1 is all.
And Martin just jams.
6 calls. Only back, gentlemen.
Greg obviously going to make the call.
Chop the money up.
Martin just gets lucky.
Full house. Full house. It's not a full house. I just didn't. The only thing I didn't want to see was 2 clubs.
5 ones, please, sir.
And I've just received word about players on the outer table. We have Josh Hutchins with a lot of chips from what I understand. We've got Fletcher Smith, the defending champion in this event, and also Tony Hatcham still in this one as well. So there's quite a few huge names in the outer table.
Also Jonathan Levy out there on that secondary feature table looking to add about his 26th APT trophy to his cabinet.
Party with a whole heap of blokes.
I'm driving.
Free drinks, free food. Yeah.
Announcements to be made. That could be worth going.
Gotta try and get some rate back.
Just be a sausage fest, but
Who
it'll be
knows?
alright.
Is it over there?
What's on the menu that I am hungry? Probably like sausage rolls and stuff. Sausage rolls. House wine.
A platter, some
3
house wine.
faults.
Some Moselle.
1 beer.
Yeah, limit of 1 B.
4 faults.
Conditions.
New owner now. He's very good. Yeah, he is.
5 faults.
I bet the budget's
6
not.
faults.
Tony Hash. I bet the budget's not much bigger.
Another real hand here for Will. Last one didn't work out so well for him. See if he can have any better luck with this ace queen
Put a little
suited.
bit in. How much did he buy?
You got majority.
Big little bit.
You've got more than half.
8 faults.
Oh, tells me anything, Tony.
Imagine Bull will be taking this one down pre-flop.
Secret.
Still a better result than his last hand.
One fold.
The boss. Yeah, you might.
Tony, are you in
Gary
the hand?
considering a defend here.
Tony, are you in the hand? We heard that the boat's gone up for the players' party.
Two folds.
It's a hand that we might consider defending, but we are approaching the money bubble. Would be a little bit of a loose defend at the best of times.
You know your live
Just a few
stream,
spots
Tony,
away
so,
from locking up that mid-cash. Pass this one up. Gary agrees.
Okay, players' party's gone up. Thank you, sir.
Oh, it's like a limit of entries get to drinks. First 20 people, you have free
We hear
drinks,
Martin
free
just
food.
said Tony on the other table confirming the budget for the players' party is going up. So all of you guys that are ready, tell if Tony ships this one, it's going to be a hell of a party. So make sure you're there.
Yeah, I never got it. No, this is the first one.
I've had them down. Oh, is that APL that has them down at Southport Golf? Okay.
And WPT has it.
Oh, yeah. WPT, yeah.
I don't think
That is
APL has them
sausage
either.
rolls.
Four
and,
folds.
Yeah.
5 folds.
And then there's the unofficial parties.
well, that might be worth going.
Yeah, that'd be much better.
6 folds, 7 folds.
Triangle hand there for Greg, but from early position he decides against it, and his timing is spot on. Karina's picked up the aces in the cutoff here. And Martin would generally really like to play on the button here. That bubble looming. Just a bit above 20 big blinds. Queen 9 suited can be a tricky one to play.
You doing the grind?
It can't be good for your back to be leaning over like that, Martin.
Also won't be good for his wallet if he does anything apart from fold here.
One calls.
He's going to find the call.
Yeah, now I don't hate this call on the button. We have a very playable hand. It is against the cutoff open.
Any flop with a jack or 10 on it
Three
is going
calls.
to get a lot of people involved. And
Call those
Kai
calls.
decides that, you know what, everybody else is playing. I might as well peel the jack 6-0.
Getting a trillion to 1. She's going to need a lot of help to win this hand. You see only 6% going to the flop.
2 checks.
And that is a spicy flop.
Yeah, it's a nothing flop for 2 of our players, but it's a flush draw for Gary with 2 overcards. Karina still way ahead with the aces.
They bet 16,000. 1-6.
She is going to bet a third. And Martin's going to go into the tank again.
1 folds.
Easy decisions.
See 2 calls. See
All
3
from Gary
folds.
in the small blind. Off to a turn card we go.
This SPR is getting a little bit small. There's plenty of other circumstances where Gary would have loved to just check jam his hand. It would have worked out for him here as we see him proves to the jack high flush. We're in big trouble here, but probably got a pretty good idea, this pot being multi-way, that a flush does make up a reasonable part of her opponent's range here.
8 checks.
She does check back. Nice check. River card does not go bink. A jack high flush is the best hand.
Only a few outs for Karina there, and she does manage to hit one on the river. Gary is good, and he's going to have to go for some value here. This is going to put Karina in a really nasty spot. The fact that this was 4 ways to a flop might be her saving grace.
See 2 bets. 28.5.
Roughly half
28,500.
Oh, it does go a third.
Pretty small. Karina will probably be pretty happy to pay this off.
She counts it out and then decides to think about it for a little bit longer, but
Now, there's no reason that this can't be
8 calls.
a smaller pocket pair, given the block size.
Both 10 high push. Those aces.
There's definitely hands here that aren't bluffs that Karina can still beat. Not loads of them, but they are there. They do exist. So the price of 1/3 pot, which only needs to be good 20% of the time. Is going to leave her somewhat short, below the 20 big blind mark, but still a playable stack. This is the part of the tournament where it's pretty tense to be sub 20. Of course, our 12th through 10th place finishers today will be securing a min cash of $3,400. So that min cash is nothing to sneeze at.
Bless you.
Five folds. 6 folds. 7 folds. 8 folds.
Martin with ace-jack. A hand good in a number of different games, apart from Baccarat. I think you'll definitely be finding an open here.
C1 raises to 11,000.
Intended for Gary. Now, if he decided, this would be a pretty good spot for him to put the pressure on Martin with that bubble looming. It'd be a little bit,
Say 2 calls.
a little bit worrying against a 20-ish big blind stack. I think 3-bet would be pretty effective in general in
3
this spot.
folds.
You wouldn't have to size it up too big either to put that pressure onto Martin. He does elect to just call with the button though. He's going to play the hand in position. Allow Duncan to take a cheap flop here with a suited queen.
4 calls.
Which he does.
3 runners. Duncan, actually told you first. 4 checks.
Definitely a flop that favours the big blind, but Duncan does decide to check. We expect to see this one check through quite a lot.
One checks.
Martin technically with the best hand, but we see himself and Duncan both have 40% each. Gary, the one player who's a clear underdog, is the one that's betting though, and he's not up against much in either player's hand. Just the gut shot, the backdoor flush draw for Duncan. His bet might just get it done. Power of position.
Oh, a bit of a pump fake there from Martin. He's gonna fold.
1 fold.
And then has a second take at Gary. And Martin was spot on. Did bluff him with the worst hand.
Basically, yeah. So we are down to 15 players now, so just 3 off of the money. 12 of our players remaining in the DRACAKIS Jewelers Players Championship will be taking home at least $3,400. 3 of the remaining players will take home just some memories and probably a bad beat story. Of course, our champion today will be taking home $39,000 for first, along with that $12,000 DRACAKIS Jewelers ring.
8 folds. 10-5.
That's 400, 2,400 for the 2,400 big blind Eddie, all players and dealers.
Yeah, 3 more guys are going to fall out. Boy, they'll be able to say thanks for the memories, as we see Will open with the Queen Jack of Spades here.
Jordan, we're not even down to the final table. I can't do this all day.
I don't know what you mean. Kai flatting 3s from the button here. Caius
5 folds.
with a tribute to Doyle that I don't think he's going to be playing. Does just fold, as we see a classic flip here.
Heads up.
Which goes Will's way.
7 checks.
Checks it over. Kai, the only one with the diamonds, but I don't think she's going to be doing any betting here. I'm wrong once again. Looks like she's going to try and get some folds from, or get some calls for some hands that might have a bit of equity, like your 10-9s, queen 10s. Will is going to
denying a bit of equity from denying from some random overcards has some benefits as well. It's not going to work out for Kai this time though. Unless, of course, she was to keep up the aggression. She'd have to have another 2 goes at least. She's just going to check it back.
River card goes 9.
Yeah, these threes have virtually no showdown value whatsoever at this point. Also, not a particularly impressive combo to bluff with either. Kai does just decide to give it up. We're just going to take down the pot there.
Just like that, Will takes himself over the 300k mark. Good for second at the table. Kaius with the chip lead at the table with 383k. I know that there are some very big stacks on the outer table. Heard that Hutchie, or Josh Hutchins at the outer table, had over 150 big blinds at the 4k big blind mark, so if he is tracking in that same direction, he would have a lot. As we see a quick freeze here, just give us a moment, we'll sort that one out.
Well, 8 folds.
There we go.
One folds. 2 folds. 3 folds.
Duncan with the king 8 suited on the button.
See 4 raises to 12,000.
Definitely a hand you're going to want to open, that he does.
5 folds? Yeah, 4 raises to 12. 5 folds.
And Greg here with an ace. Definitely a peelable hand in the big blind.
Six calls. Heads up.
You still running your game up here, right? Sorry? You still running your private game? I don't run games. I have venues that people rent off of me. But I don't run any games.
Greg's still ahead with ace high, and he does pick up a gut shot. Board that Duncan could elect a continuation bet though.
15.
And then there's something called BPU.
Reasonably big size too, he goes for about half pot sizing.
So, yeah, it's a 10, it's got 2 TV
6 calls.
And
Greg not deterred just yet.
8 others.
At 9, not going to change anything for either player.
They're all
Change a lot
on
on the board either.
6 checks.
Greg going to check him over once more.
4 checks.
Quick check back from Duncan. And Bink. That's another one of those rivers.
River card goes
Duncan.
big.
6 checks.
Improves to top pair. Greg made a good call on the flop there with his ace high. He's going to get punished for it.
4 bets 20. 6 folds.
tables upstairs, the other tables are downstairs, and we got to read my gut shot.
Oh, I put you on the flush draw.
Everybody's up here on so we're going Thursday night, Friday night, and Sunday, and then it's unification. So these guys go there, guys will go there. So
you don't get the extra when they hold the game?
No, because it's too hard. No, I do it because I love it, but I don't want to run a game. And every game is, even on Thursday, they have a $60 Thursday night game. It's all dealer bill. Every single game is dealer bill. So, but you got to arrange dealers, you got to deal with lumpy players.
Oh, I know.
You got to deal with all that stuff.
I run a game myself for 15 years.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, I don't want to run it. I want the excitement of being able to go there when I want to go there and stuff. But,
Seed 8 raises to 10-5.
So Karina's going to open 7s here.
C1 holds for nothing.
What? 10-5.
And I ran a game all through the 90s and into the 2000s.
1 fold, 2 fold, 3
Your
fold.
house or?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Cash?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is
Action
no
folding around to Duncan in the cutoff.
Well, I mean, we have cash one night of the week and the tournament another night of the week.
Does fold as well.
Yeah.
Kai's with 6-8 suited.
So yours is more like a club.
He's on the button and he does have a mountain of chips in front of him. But against under the gun, he decides against continuing.
6 folds.
Will is not going to be folding his hand out of the big blind though. 9-8 suited, closing the action, getting a good price. He's going to take the flop.
I know how steady you get.
It's a fair fight here.
7 jacks.
not with tournament.
Not as fair on that flop though. Karina still in the lead and the only player with a spade.
Yeah. And that's what I
Actually is going to c-bet for roughly a third. Roughly a quarter, sorry. Gets it done. Another nice pot for Karina, taking herself back over 20 big blinds.
Yeah, nice flop size there by Karina as well. It's a flop where basically everyone's going to either have absolutely nothing or something reasonably strong. And most of the time it's going to be absolutely nothing. It doesn't take much to get your opponent to fold absolutely nothing. Quarter pot will more than suffice, and it does in this case as well. Everybody can take that pot down.
A guy called Milton Tricky, he played at most of the Aussie Millions, he's 65 and retired. Then there's Churchy's head of security at Star. What's his name? Churchy, Ian Church. And then there's Janet Wyville, who you may have heard of. So there's a committee that run it. And it's well run. They're very disciplined. They've been running for 15 years or so.
One fault, six faults.
They run all, and they show all the other games that are coming up. WPT, so you can search down on there what's going on. Yeah, and then weekly results.
That's a website, not an app.
Yeah, but you can pull it up as an app as well. And so like this shows each week the winners and the prize pools, and so it's all on Hinder Mob. So they put everything on Hinder Mob. Yeah, that's really good. I think
go ahead and open up the button here with
really
the
good.
10.
Best game in Brisbane by a mile.
Yeah.
7 folds.
And the tables are all $10,000.
We got monthly of what, 550.
Definitely a defendable hand there for Karina in the Jack 5 suited, but maybe that approaching bubble as I reconsider. Does just want to toss that one in. 2 players at the moment hovering right on that 20 big blind mark.
Start the year off.
Everyone else above the 40 big blind mark, so very deep poker.
There's 80 to 100 each time. I got lucky the other night.
TVs on every wall and everything.
Yeah,
He's decked it out.
there's 9 TVs. I mean, it's got everything you need.
The best chair.
No, it hasn't got a bar, so it's not licensed.
Next door.
There's a bowls club.
What about food?
Next door,
so
bowls club.
most people Uber Eats.
Yeah,
But
there's a lot of food around.
Brisbane and whatever.
And a
down the
machine
road.
now.
And there's a vending machine now. And
It's even got toilets.
Is that
It's
Smiley?
got toilets, no fence.
yeah, and when we take over the boo, then we'll have the boo is the bowls club. Then we'll have venues for bigger tournaments.
Yeah.
Milton and I are trying to take over the bowls club. I don't know if we can,
6
but
folds.
we're trying to. Yeah, you can't. You can only buy the leads.
I was thinking of joining that bowls club so I can park my car.
8 folds.
Why, you don't get enough parking at the front?
Not sometimes. I'm a bit of a later driver.
Yeah, it does
Need to get there early.
There's a movie on that topic.
What's that?
I'm trying to think of the movie.
So
It's
Kais is going to open up the Jack 10-0 from the hijack here.
some guy in Melbourne, he joins a bowls club just to get parking spot. He ends up getting called up in the whole culture of it.
No. Folds. 10-5.
Has opened here. Martin's going to go ahead and make the call.
5 race 10-5. Folds around. Big black folds.
Now, Martin has popped one of these up already. See if he's able to do it again though. Probably won't be able to call a bet if he faces one.
1 check. C5 bets 11.
This is going to go ahead and make the continuation bet here. Nothing Martin can really do in this spot apart from give it up.
I know the Queen's coming on the turn, but I can't afford to pay for it, so nice bet. Oh, good job I didn't pay for it because I would have chopped anyway as soon as the Queen's done. No, it is.
Do you own the premises?
Yeah, I do. I own the building.
You still own this bag?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
It's like in the centre of Brisbane?
Yeah, it's right in Newstead. Yeah. Can I get some
Albion Park Hotel. You must know that where the stakes are. The race course, yeah, the trotters.
I just
the Breakfast Creek
accommodation
Hotel.
at Albion Park for the end of the meeting, 16th of
Well,
December.
it's just round the corner from Albion.
Half a kilometre.
Yeah, very near the Breakfast Creek Hotel.
Go 5-5, please, mate. Thank you.
I assume you've been there before.
Next to Bunnies. Across the road
Breakfast
from
Creek
Bunnies.
Hotel? I don't know the area too well.
Pretty
Maybe
iconic for Brisbane.
I've been to Albion Park once or twice. That's all I can admit to it.
Really quiet. Can't hear. 3 raises to 11. 4 faults.
Now, Tara's been pretty quiet since we joined the broadcast today, but here she is with the sexy boys, going to open up from under the gun.
7 faults. 8 faults.
He's going to get around to the blinds. I haven't really picked up anything so far. Martin not going to be interested against under the gun.
Yeah. I turned it off. Oh, that's right.
Oh, 11 under the gun, huh?
1
Let's
fault.
have a look here.
Gary also not going to be thrilled about this particular hand.
I'll let it go.
Do they have accommodation at the Albion, at the Crocs there, do they?
Well, no, I just booked something. I looked up, I just went on the internet this morning and I said the combination close to Albion Park. I came up with a couple of places.
But Albion Park's nowhere near here.
Really?
Albion
Top of that
Park-
leaderboard,
Albion
399
Park-
case.
No, I'm saying
Very, very close to that 400k mark.
Racing in the Dominion.
Okay, the trotters are there.
5-5, please.
Right, the trotters are there in
Big
my
bug.
venue. That's the bowls club there in my venue.
Just a reminder that these guys are playing for a
So
first
it's not far away.
prize
I don't know where
of
my-
$39,000.
Hamilton. Be Hamilton, I bet.
It's some dumb of a place.
Also 2 spots away from being on the money bubble as well. I think this would be somewhat of a tense moment, but everyone seems very relaxed and very chatty. Just the guys up that right side of the table where we're looking.
5 faults.
Yeah, Gary and Martin have
6
really
faults,
just
7
having
faults.
quite the conversation over there. You couldn't even think that they're
Yeah,
playing
raises to
a
10,000,
tournament with 39k up top.
7s again for Karina. They worked last time. Give them another go. She's in a better position this time around as well.
10.5.
10.5.
Going to get around to high in the big.
Oh, smiling. Good hand, huh?
Not a hand she'll be interested with.
No, I can't.
We've got 2 players who would love to double down here if they were playing a different card game. And in this scenario,
Yeah,
Karina
just
is
call
just going to take it down.
We haven't called him yet, no. I can't. How about you? How about you do it?
Shout out David, big fanboy of you, Corey. Really enjoying the commentary.
Albion Manor. Is that in Albion Manor?
Cheers for tuning in, David.
402
Thanks everyone for joining.
Road, Albion.
Yeah, okay.
Got a lot of poker ahead of us today.
Yeah, I don't know.
The intention, I believe, is to play down to a winner.
No, 2-5 is
Approaching the money.
I come for 2 weeks.
All players
Start
paid,
on the 2nd of
3,400
December and
min
close
cash.
16th of December.
39k, the Carcass ring up top.
What's in December?
In the Dominion, so trotting in the
Oh, I see.
It's like the
Oh,
Melbourne
okay.
Cup of trotting races.
Oh, okay, right. Okay. I don't know anything about horses or trotters or anything. So.
I had to zone them and pay the bills when they sent them to me, that's all.
6 fault. 7 fault.
2 natural 9s down to start. And we've got 2 actual 9s
Raises
for
to
Karina.
10-5. 10,500.
Improved from 7s to 9s, going to open it up to 10,500.
Yeah, I've been thinking about taking this off for a while. When you wear it.
1 fault. 2 faults.
And once again, nothing really for the blinds. Looks like Karina's probably going to pick up an uncontested pot. Unless Duncan decides to defend the 760.
3 faults.
Yeah. Yeah,
6.
the other way round.
Oh, yeah. Right, I'm hopeless with this. That's
all
why
right, yeah.
Thanks, bro.
It looks like he is, so we are going to see a flop here.
See 4 calls.
Duncan in pretty rough shape.
Trying to get good enough to get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's going to need a lot of help for this one.
And that ain't
What
it.
he's after.
Does have 2 overs and back doors, but I don't think he's going to be able to do anything versus C-Bet here. I wonder if Karina is going to do the same thing, betting 7k once again. So she's going a little bit bigger, 10k this time.
4 folds. Alright, Packer Boys, can we count out our purple chips, please? We're also going to buy them.
And you heard the dealer. We're going to have a quick race off.
Yeah, purples. 1 mil.
Oh, you want
3.
Well, it looks like they're just buying up for now.
13.
Michael Walford joins us in the Facebook chat. Appreciate you joining us, Mick. We've missed you a little bit, you know. Haven't seen your face around the tourney scene for a little while. Hope things are going well.
10. Thank you.
So I'll have to have a look at that website. Is it?
Brisbane Poker United. Yeah,
PPU.
yeah, PPU.org it is.
.org.
Yeah.
6 folds.
BrisbanePokerUnited.org. And then it's got
7
all the
folds.
stuff here. So if you were up here for 2 weeks and you wanted to play poker,
Will fold with the
everything-
ace-jack
everything in
O.
Queensland.
+1.
Sometimes that's the Sydney stuff.
Surely not. Will has 300k.
Yeah, he's got about 50 bigs, but decides to pass. Interesting. See what Martin decides to do here with the King 7 suited for sub 15 bigs.
Sorry?
Lines have gone up.
Yeah, we're playing 3 6s. So. 1 folds.
Does decide against it.
See
Gary,
2,
though,
raise
the better king,
12,000.
opens the King Queen O from the cutoff.
3 fold. 4 fold.
Yeah, this is a defend, especially table chip lead.
Clear defend here.
And then there were 14.
And you heard Martin. Sounds like we have a bust out, so it sounds like we are down to 14. That graphic in the top right will update shortly.
Nick in the Facebook chat lets us know. Will knows. Ace Jack, lose your stack. Well,
5 folds.
we'll see. Or maybe we won't. To know what's going on. Why
Feels
isn't
like a
anybody
clear
playing
defend.
poker, Jordan?
Yeah, Kais is playing very snug. Probably just wants to try and preserve his chips as much as possible.
7.
We do understand that there is a little over 4 million chips in play, 4.12 million chips in play,
Oh,
so
it is 14. I thought it said
that stack
someone got out.
Kais has is almost a final table average stack, so he's definitely done some work. He probably doesn't want to see it go away too quickly, and it's what he's not very confident in, so does pass on the defend.
He's the muscle. You don't want to get rid of the muscle.
Let me win one more pocket though. I think you made it.
And we have a phone call, urgently to be picked up.
7 fold, 8 fold.
Probably somebody telling him that he probably should be defending that, but decides against it. Martin with ace-5 suited though, +1, 14 big, does not want to take the jam.
Yeah, if he's got one, take off him.
Yeah, this is certainly a function of that approaching money bubble.
Tony.
14 players left, 12 players paid, $3,400 min cash for a $1,500 buy-in. So more than doubling your money if you can just last 2 more players. You don't actually have to accumulate any more chips to lock up that almost 3.5 grand. You just need to not be one of the next 2 out. Sounds pretty easy when you put it that way. Let's see how things play out.
3 races.
We could be here a little while if no one wants to play any hands.
Yeah. What else could it be? Yeah, sure, with no blacks or purples.
I'm going to take the open here with the Queen Jack.
4 folds, 5 folds.
Rihanna says hi.
So many queens left in the deck. That's not good news because she's up against a real hand in Greg.
I think I'm right.
Feels bad I said hi.
Don't think Greg is going to be doing anything other than just calling though.
Mostly right.
Don't think ace 10 offsuit is strong enough to be 3-betting here.
6 calls.
Looks like he agrees. Off to a flop we go.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If one of these hands connects, then both of them will, so
That doesn't mean I could be her dad, but...
not in this occasion though. Greg is still ahead with ace high, but there are quite a lot of hands that he would not
Yeah, my youngest is
like to
24.
be facing a c-bet against.
Poor girl.
Kai did bet the 3s before, looks like she will continue here. 15k.
Very dry flop. Like to see the c-bet here from Kai. Greg's going to have to call one street here with the ace 10. The board, Kai's going to be c-betting relentlessly. If he's folding a hand as strong as ace 10, she's just going to be printing money against him. I can get away with one there.
She did bet relatively large. She bet more than 1/3.
Yeah.
Roughly
Spare
40%
chips out
pot,
front,
so
please.
maybe versus a smaller size he'd be
1,
happy to
2,
peel
3,
one off, but
4.
versus that larger
2 off the
size,
grabs.
maybe he just thinks that there are certain turn cards that could get him in a lot of trouble. If he's up against a hand like ace 8,
Please
king
have
10,
4 oranges
ace
and
king,
5
there are a lot of turns that would be making his life pretty miserable. So he does decide just to pass on it.
Kai gonna come very close to that 300,000 chip mark now.
Oh, are you kidding? I win with a 6. How did that happen?
What was action?
That's the run good right there. Meant to be.
Oh, I lost the last one, so I guess that one was okay.
It's the biggest party run in the last
Don't
half
use
hour.
up your run good on the chip race, Mark.
Alright guys, new dealer coming in as well. Best of luck.
Thanks, bro. Is it those chairs, Mark? Those chairs over there? Is it, you said there's a difference.
No, they're not. I've realised now it's down at Southport Sharks.
Okay.
They got 2 down there.
Then
Yeah,
it
get
gets too
another one.
hot.
Just go grab one. Just go grab one and stick it on.
No, it's the cushion. It's not the height.
That's right.
The cushion's very like, you know.
Hey, go and buy one of these.
I know.
There you go.
Ah, don't you have another one? Let me buy
No, I
one.
don't.
I'll just say
But Nuno's got one if he's not playing, but he's probably playing again.
This is a chatty table tonight, isn't it?
Certainly is, yeah.
he's
Half
there,
our job's done for us,
yeah,
Jordan.
that's a very good thing.
Yeah, there wasn't much
Why I don't
conversation
get
going
one.
on yesterday, but today these guys just,
Maybe because I don't last that long.
they won't really stop talking.
Burn myself.
You're playing very solid today.
Oh, trying.
Couldn't believe it when I saw that size stack and then you're not playing hands that you normally play. Like, what's
David
what's
and Face
going on?
Chat cheering on Duncan.
Different
It's
structure.
not the structure.
Let us know who you're cheering for at home and also where you're watching from. Always love to hear
He's like, I don't
whereabouts in the
want
world
them to
we've got
know.
viewers
well,
Oh, shut
tuning
your
in.
hands until I get moved.
15,000.
That's right.
Yesterday we had somebody watching from North Carolina, which was absolutely ridiculous.
Oh,
Kai's turn to try and win a pot with 7s, but this time Kai's has an actual hand he's going to want to use to put pressure on.
Karina employed the strategy of everyone else having rubbish. Nah, Kai doesn't seem to have pulled that one off just yet. But it is a fair fight.
Alrighty,
He's going to
guys,
have to
the total
improve.
300. Your flyers now
Gonna
going
beat the
up,
sevens.
please. So 1,500,
Gary,
3,000.
can you move
To
away
the
your
3,000 big
camera?
180. Thank you. That's 15, 3, 3 for players and dealers.
5 rate is
Focus on
52. Yeah.
He's going to put in the
6
3-bet.
and 8 fold.
Pretty healthy 3-bet as well. About 3.5 times Kai's open.
52.
Awkward spot here with 7s. Couple spots off the money.
Very awkward spot. Got Pesky tuning in from Vancouver, Canada. That's what I mean. We've got people watching from everywhere.
That's got to be about as far away as you can be, right?
Well, it could be in Hobart.
True.
Sex on that other table.
I know. And since
Yeah,
we're all
I'm not
playing
Vancouver
as well.
is north of Hobart.
Yeah, you beat me there. Kai does make the fold with the 7s. Yeah, that again, that's a function of that bubble coming into play here. Spot where I imagine should be pretty comfortable calling that 3-bet otherwise. It is important to keep your stack preserved and healthy. don't really want to find yourself in situations where your tournament life is at risk.
Thank
Okay, you
you.
can have the pot now, mate.
If it was wrong, they get the pot back,
Yeah.
eh?
Got
still trying to argue the
Goitra
point
tuning
why
in
they
on
do it
Twitch
after
saying
they
Brisbane Duncan
sit
up there
down.
again. Early notice because
rather
I'm a
before.
Duncan as well. Yeah, he's certainly been dunking on people so far. Hopefully it can continue for him. Got David in the Facebook chat cheering on for Duncan as well. There's a lot of Duncan fans. Do not know where they're all coming from, but they certainly are tuning in.
Turn you, Gary.
Alrighty. Let's let the camera have a look first.
Some more ace queen.
Better.
2 raised to 13. 3 fold.
Kai's with another ace. Wonder whether or not he's going to try and apply pressure with this one as well.
Honestly, the way things have been going on this table, it might work. Ace Queen, a very strong hand, but it feels a lot less strong when you open under the gun and someone 3-bets you.
6
Karina off sub 20. Bit of an awkward spot here. She also going to dodge a bullet.
You can pick one and have a look.
We'll have a look at that one.
Stream?
Yeah, that's a nice one.
I don't know.
I haven't seen it at all.
Gary, I had an anti here already.
Oh, thank you.
I think so, because I saw the stream to the right.
I'll get 5
commentary.
minutes, please.
Yeah. Because you asked so nicely.
Thank you.
Who knows what they're saying about us?
They already know I'm a rock. So I haven't got to prove it.
You already know that you're a what?
I rock. I fold everything. I know where the fold button is.
It's not hard for him to find it.
Now we saw Kai's tanking with the 8-6 suited. Wonder whether or not he's going to do the same with the 9-7. Nope. Snap in the muck.
Kais can definitely be leveraging this bubble a little more than he is. That's a couple spots away. He does have everyone on the table covered, and so far the table has demonstrated that they are being very respectful of that bubble. It's a situation where, as the table chip leader, you have an opportunity to really pick up some chips, extend that chip lead as you move towards the final table.
One fold.
Very defendable hand here for Gary.
Two
And
fold.
he is.
Heads up.
Let's see 3 cards. Gary would probably like to see 3 other cards, as he totally whiffs that flop. Greg with the range advantage, board advantage, posture advantage, is going to c-bet.
Bet 15.
Half pot,
Two
and I
fold.
think this will work very quickly, and it does. Takes
Greg
the pot down.
also had the positional advantage and is slightly more sun safe in this hand.
4 fold. 5 fold.
Karina with 4s. Really a fan of these pocket pairs.
8 raised to 12.
Martin with 11.5
One
bigs,
fold.
gone to fold.
Looks like Karina's employing that signature strategy of hers and everyone else having rubbish. She's going to pick up another uncontested pot, I think.
3 fold.
Easy game.
Gotta give them back.
Martin, our current table short stack.
Whilst it does look nice, it's not really a good spot for him. He really wants to try and find a double here.
This is probably Martin's spot.
Cut off 11. 0.5 bigs.
The problem with passing up on spots like this is that those blinds are going to come around and the spots are just going to start getting worse and worse. You can't be too reliant on the deck. The rest of the table has shown that they're not likely to get out of line and bust anytime soon while this money bubble still looms. So you're going to have to make a bit of your own luck in these situations. When that's the case, it also means this shove is slightly more likely to get through. People aren't going to be calling you light.
Joel on Twitch. No lo siento. Aquí nadie puede hablar español. So you see, it looks like Martin's giving this one a little bit more thought.
One awning.
Looks like he does take it. Mr. Benson with the ace deuce suited. Might consider this one for just a little bit.
9, right?
Yep, nice jam.
Yeah, 69.
Nice. Does decide to pass on it.
Two and three.
Overs the big blind.
4 fold.
Showed it 3.
Duncan, 10-3 offsuit, nothing he can be doing here.
Pussy.
Martin is going to get the jam through, takes himself up closer to 15 big blinds once more.
That one.
Picks up that 15k
which one?
uncontested.
Either one.
That's muy bien.
Like ace king.
I don't know.
One bill for me, please.
It
Thank
was
you.
in 2 minds there. I don't think he was going to min raise, but he thought, stuff this. Just take him and go.
Can't min raise off of 11 bigs.
You can.
Well, you can, but I
You're
can't.
limp too.
I can't. I will happily tell you, I will min raise off of 15 bigs or more, but if it's
Depends on your
below,
hand. Depends on your hand.
well, it looks so strong if you min raise off of 11 bigs, it's better off jamming. I already jammed queens if you guys had looked at the stream with 14 bigs because it was just too risky. And all I picked up was the blinds, but I had no choice.
2 off the money, and I know you need a few bucks. Hell of your
I'd
bank,
rather get the Hinder mob.
This one's to add it onto his Hendon.
He's after the
My hand and more.
It's more the pride of the score than the...
Right.
Yeah, I know.
I believe that.
I want to text Robert DeMillion and tell him I'm paying him 10%.
Oh, he's a hard man to beat, Robert. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been grinding a long
These guys
time.
have been pretty tight so far, but I imagine Gary's probably going to be opening up the Kings.
Money because it's 10%.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Always spot 10%.
Oh, dear.
Every
2
tournament we're in the
raised
same
to
tournament.
14. 3 fold.
Shiver Me Ginger asking who won the 2.5K. That one was won by Josh Goldsmith.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter
Managed
whether
to
one person
win a
gives for one
huge
bullet,
pot to close out the heads-up battle last night. Kings v10, 60 big blinds in the middle pre-flop.
Yeah,
And the whole heads-up only lasted like 20 minutes.
Yeah, basically every chip in the tournament in the middle in that pot.
Because it's 10 to everybody. As long as you have to play that tournament. If you played in one over here and 2 didn't, that's different.
Yeah, and I
4
totally
raised
agree.
to 44.
Googling something to find out about it is really... might as well just ask.
I'm all in, love. All in.
2 on in.
Gary just
4
piles.
fold.
You picked the wrong
Very
time.
quick fold from Duncan. Nice read on the situation.
Yeah, I think I'd really like to see a slow play from
had a hand.
Gary here.
Everyone, I promise.
I Kings.
Well,
Why won't you
yeah,
slow play with Kings?
I think Duncan's gonna fold everything.
I don't know. I reckon I'd slow play aces. Kings, you just...
Ace is definitely slow play. I typically don't advocate for slow playing Kings very often. I think this is one of those spots where our opponent is going to play so tight against our 4-bet. But of course, there's some unfavorable runouts, and as we've seen over the last day or so, there is always an ace.
8 fold.
I think Gary is going to be getting amongst it here once more.
Slightly less premium hand than last hand, but he'll be in there nonetheless.
2 raised to 14. 3 fold. 4 fold.
Cards for the 7-6 suited in the small. Counts out a call.
Fold. We have 3 runners. Five check. 6 check.
Everyone's connecting with flop here. Bottom pair for Greg and for Case, but they are quite a way up behind Gary's top pair. Back to the hearts also for Case here.
6 call.
Greg gonna overcall here. I don't know about this with bottom pair no kicker. After the bet and the call, someone probably has something. Get the only board pair that doesn't affect anyone's hand.
Check. 6 check.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back into the flip pit. We're just in the lead up to the Fight C of the main event. Fight C of the main event is 6 bid kickoff this evening.
2 check. River.
We're going to get into some flips for the main event. $7 by $100 flip. Why pay $600 when you can pay do a lap of the room, downstairs, upstairs, poker shop. And you grind.
5 bet 14.
Flips, 7 by 100, 600 all main event for the first, and massage pedal for second.
14, 1 3.
And one for Sarah's walking around over the room here, guys. Anybody want a drink? Beer, wine, spirits, soft drink, juice, food. Sarah's just floating over this side.
6 fold.
It's a tiny bet. It's just going to get side called off on the river. Not really sure what Kai's is trying to do here.
I mean, I guess he's just trying to get the hand to showdown, but I just think try and do it for free. And Gary actually going to take the chip lead after that hand, up to 370.
Ladies and gentlemen, and dealers in the grind, it is break time. This is your mid break, half an hour. Once you finish out here, dealers and players alike. Anybody want to quickly jump into the slip, guys?
So Gary is weighing up his options with another hand here. Decides against the king deuce offsuit.
7 by 100.
Thinking of playing that rush.
Four and 5 fold.
Oh yeah.
Couple of jacks here. Might be blind. What do you think Karina might do here? Do you reckon she will jam for less than 20 bigs with the Queen Jack O? Or just to defend?
I imagine she'll probably just take the defend
I
here.
don't know.
She has got position, she's got a very playable hand.
Jigsy and Aiden, did he?
Yeah. Like hand. Yeah, he did.
Boom, boom, wasn't it?
Yeah, he had big hands. You know. A big flush over flush.
Gut shot for Karina, nothing for Greg, but he does have the betting lead.
Aiden's unlucky. You know, I think he was going to fold. He
Doesn't like to utilise it here.
So noisy.
Against the big stack, yeah.
6 check, 8
Probably anyone
check.
else he probably folds.
Yeah,
But
check, flop.
Ace on the turn gives Karina a double gutter and Greg a gut shot of his own.
Yeah,
Both
also
plays
might
with a
be
spade.
what Greg needs to start betting, but no, he's just going to check it as again.
Ace check. River.
Karina just going to make sure she realises her equity here.
River card goes pink.
Exactly what she needs. Also improves Greg to the second pair. Be reasonably confident with that king, seeing as the way this hand's played out so passively thus far. Let's go ahead and make a value bet. That price is not going to remain the same for long.
The price of poker is definitely going to be going up here.
What size do you think here, Jordan?
I reckon something small. You can tell that Greg doesn't really have anything too major, otherwise he would have done a lot more betting on the previous streets.
Is that your break? You want a break? 30 minutes?
I would really like to choose a size somewhere maybe around 35 to 36k that tries to get a crying call from King X, but I don't think anything is really going to be calling for this size.
Karina goes for the bigger size here, trying to extract the max out of her hand. We're in a bit of a weird spot now. Could be a little bit confused. After seeing the check on both streets from Karina, she's not representing a whole lot of hands here. Of course, the Queen Jack makes perfect sense. Something like maybe a King 3, maybe a King 8 would make sense. Of course, Greg with the King of Spades makes those hands a bit less likely. The question is, does Karina ever check back twice to bluff raise the river? And that's a pretty creative line, especially given how snug the entire table has been approaching this money bubble.
with the amount of chips that she's got as well, I really just don't see her doing this as a bluff. It's far too risky, and he does decide to lay it down.
And that's a good fold there from Greg. Nice pick up for Karina.
New dealer coming. Good luck, guys.
Thanks, Kate.
Yeah, he looked pretty strong because he didn't leave much behind. Right? No, I wouldn't have called on a game. You were too greedy if you hit the match. Or otherwise, good bluff.
As we see, it looks like we've got a quick dealer change here. That's Tony coming into the mix.
What are you playing? Right now? Alright, alright. You got a stack? Oh.
Two folds. Three folds. Four folds. Six folds.
Bit of blind v blind action here. The ace-9 opening up for Karina. Into the smaller chip stack of Martin, I think I would have just preferred a jam.
Yeah, jam's certainly much easier here. If you want to take a higher risk, perhaps higher EV play, you could always limp to induce if you're trying to actually get action out of your hand. But we're too off the money. I don't think we need to complicate it. Just go ahead and put all the chips in. Our ace-9 is certainly strong enough for 12 bigs, 13 once we count the one that's already in there.
Looks like he will find a defend.
I mean, King 7's pretty strong blind versus blind.
Looks like we see a check here from Karina.
In fact, Martin's hand would be pretty happy to call a jam if it weren't for the ICM situation.
Yep, I agree.
What?
Your hair's growing out.
Leave me alone.
You're almost ready for the hairdresser.
You're going to play her hands a trap on the flop here.
Shaky Stevie's name is. $10 a hit.
With a pump fake there maybe by Martin.
P3 on the turn. Would be surprised to see a relatively small bet here from Karina. Looks to be roughly 1/3 pot.
You were lucky in aces, kings, or ace king against your friends when they had
Yeah.
One fold.
Yeah.
Martin manages to get out of the way of that one. A king high is actually a hand that you could potentially lose a bet with here.
Maybe.
It's a pretty nothing board apart from that ace.
Maybe you had each other's outs.
Karina can definitely conceivably have some bluffs. King high is ahead of.
I'm glad I didn't.
earlier. We had a three-way all in. Tens, I had jacks, we had queens. So this was the last one.
Hey, and I had eights and an 8 on the turn. Would have got them more. Can't.
Annoying.
And I had a feeling. Oh,
Yeah.
the donkey in me just wouldn't come out.
Three folds.
The beast.
The inner donkey.
Yeah.
4 folds. If there's a longer break next week, do we get a longer break?
I don't think so.
No dinner break or anything?
We have a young fella.
At 9:30 we do the player party.
We have to have
We
a
see
dinner
Greg
break.
here with the 7-6 suited, not going to open it up from the cutoff.
I don't think so.
And we've got a very clear hand to
Come
jam
on,
here.
come on, you've got, no, you young
Yeah,
blokes
only
got
one
all the-
player to get through. We've got an ace. We've got 10 bigs.
I have little naps in between hands, mate.
Now, we don't love shoving into a guy that's got a mountain of chips in front of him, but we've got to do what we've got to do.
One goes all in.
Like mine.
Does find the jam. Roughly
Great shot
11
from
bigs.
Martin.
10-4 are not going to be doing anything other than folding here.
That's 13,000. 5 folds. 6 folds. 8 folds.
Saw just a moment ago that pre-flop raise percentages chart. Duncan was sitting on the bottom of it. He's going to immediately get to work in bringing that number up. Raise the king jack from under the gun here.
3 folds.
It's not going to see any resistance.
I have been grinding.
15,000 chips. That's his blinds paid for this round. Keep himself nice and healthy. Martin, the only real short stack at the table at the moment. Trina's accumulated nicely.
Can I please get some memos off you?
Martin not picked up as many spots, but he has had a couple of jams get through to keep him
I
alive.
didn't see I had these stacked at the back.
Small one. 5 folds.
Greg with the queen jack off suit. I think this is an open for sure. That's what he does.
8 folds. 1 folds, 2 folds.
You gonna get that, Corey?
They'll call back if it's important.
Alright.
I don't know whether it's probably in that room we used to play in.
Yeah,
Probably.
I think it is.
Yeah, because they got a bar up there.
That's right, yeah.
3 calls, 13.
It's alright, it's okay room.
4 folds.
But you got a
I just
game
like
on.
to call
you got-
Leo's
you
queen
got
here out of
games
the
on
small
tomorrow,
blind.
so I mean,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it would be pretty awkward to 3-bet this and get jammed on 2 off the money, but
yeah, I think it's the first time.
probably strong enough that we can put the 3-bet in regardless.
Good for staff because they're all staying in.
Yeah,
So
well,
they
the
don't have
staff
to
will
drive
have
you.
Ours maintain the lead on this flop. Greg has picked up a straight draw.
I'm not saying though.
Of course, he's going to fire that continuation bet. Kai, the only one with a diamond in this hand as well.
Let's take advantage of it.
Yeah, I can have a couple of beers and some food though.
At about 40% on the flop, and Kai's going to get out of the way. This is one of the reasons why we want to just be using this hand as a 3-bet free flop. It's just a little bit too weak to allow our ace queen to be bet out of the hand so easily, but it's hard to do a whole lot on a flop like this.
Just call it a home.
It's extremely likely to just take the pot down pre-flop with no contest. Is not a bad result at all when we're out of position, even when we do have the best hand.
You've taken it out. Because I thought you just bought it just to leave it there in front of the garage.
It works well there though.
Yeah, it does. 100%. You've got the perfect spot. Yeah.
It saves on fuel.
Yeah, saves on a lot of stuff. That one was exposed. Queen of Spades. Sorry.
That was exposed.
Yeah.
Wow.
That one
Queen
there.
of Spades. Sorry, Kai.
Definitely seen it.
Yeah, it just
Yeah,
bounced off
definitely. When he
the
says it's the Queen of Spades, and it is.
Yeah, it bounced off so high.
Yeah. It's on you. Oh no, your big one. Sorry.
Sorry, Kai.
Oh, thanks for saying.
Yeah.
8 folds.
Hopefully it doesn't fuck up your hand.
Alright guys, we'll flip it in the main event.
Well, this is the kind of hand that Martin needs. Got his last couple of jams through. He'll be pretty happy to get some action off this one.
What's the best thing to do here with queens and 12 bigs, 13 bigs? It's always a bit of an interesting kind of spot.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on who we're up against. This table is pretty experienced and probably pretty clued on, and if we min-raise the queens, it's going to look very suspicious. It probably isn't that hard to sniff out, especially given that earlier on, Martin was actually having a conversation about this. I think he said that he, below 15 bigs, he typically liked to just always jam his hands, something along those lines. So if he goes against that and min-raises this now, these guys might be smart enough to sniff out what he's up to.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm fairly sure in this depth he just wants me min-raising to it. The hand is so strong, you kind of just want to try and get any value you can, but it looks like he will just jam.
Oh, Queen of Spades exposed, wasn't it? Yeah.
Queen's no good.
George Cab's already won 2 flats,
You got 2-7 or something.
You see a little giggle on the table there.
You know what? I really didn't like it. And you had a queen. Yeah, as soon as I heard you say that.
Martin with them in the hole.
So if I get called by something else, I'm screwed.
Does get that one through as well. 15 big blinds now.
I didn't say that anything else was going to happen. I wasn't saying. If it happens, it happens. But I'm just saying.
Yeah, because he said he had a queen. That's why he's like.
And then when he folds queens, if he wakes up with.
Yeah, I know.
You know the same 2 stacks for 2 hours.
That's it.
Yeah, he's a grinder.
Oh, lucky I didn't have tens.
Time's up, players. 8,000 for the AK, big bite in.
488 next hand. 1 folds.
Blind's about to tick over. It's not good news for Martin. Karina's opened up the ace-10. This time, there actually are a few hands out there that she might have to contend with. King Jack for Gary in the hijack. And that he could turn into a 3-bet bluff. He decides against it. Suited ace here for Kai.
Three calls.
She's going to make the call.
4 folds.
Now, most of these opens have just gotten through for Karina so far. She's actually going to have to play a flop this time. Oh, this could change things. Greg has picked up an absolute monster in the big blind.
Yeah, the complexion of the hand changes pretty massively as soon as he wakes up with ace-king here.
Yeah, all those times when no one picked up anything against Karina's open, and now all of a sudden everyone's picked up something. 3-bet incoming.
Three runners.
I'm just gonna leave the predictions to you for the rest of the evening, Jordan. Greg just calling the ace king. Yeah.
And he gets punished straight away.
immediately punished. 10 high flop, top for Karina. Yeah, all Greg had to do was pull the trigger on that 3-bet, and this pot was all his.
There's a 30-minute break.
That money bubble can have people do strange things sometimes.
Let's see if I can get there, yeah. It's serious now.
No spades out there. I expect this to be a pretty quick fold from Kai.
It's tough, alright.
I imagine if Greg didn't want to 3-bet this hand pre, he probably isn't interested in floating it on the flop after a bet into 2 people either. Can be tough to let go of ace-king to 1-bet on such a nothing board though.
Yeah,
He's not ready to give it up just yet.
Looks like he will call.
Heads up.
Come on, nah. I don't do the photos. No.
And that is another 10.
Yeah, beautiful card for Karina. This might actually get Greg into a little bit of trouble. If he's worried about being up against the top pair, now that's slightly less likely. Quick check back from Karina.
No, none of that. No, I'm married 43 years.
I'd like to make a prediction, Jordan, but I've already gotten one very wrong this hand, so I might just see what these guys do.
How about you? 31 years.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure there will be some money put in on the river here from Karina at least.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be anything too big. I don't want to get a crying call. Looks like she does go for roughly 1/3 pot, 25k, 26k.
You got kids money?
Yeah, 2 girls, 19 and 21.
Ooh.
Yeah.
21. Not
Greg hasn't folded just yet.
having fast.
Yeah, I know.
He can beat anything that's missed.
Pardon? 2 years apart, yeah. I got 2 girls.
Wouldn't expect to see this as a bluff all that often from Karina. It's not entirely out of the question though.
That's nice stuff. 2 years apart, they'll be covering.
Yeah.
Look at my little girl, what she's doing. She's seeing me on the TV, so she's.
Oh, I love it when
That was put in the call.
Yeah, I love
Greg
that.
can get
Oh, that is fantastic.
Nice little up there for Karina. Takes herself back over 248k.
Like I said, I can't do
Considering that she had sub 20 big blinds earlier, that is a huge result for her.
And not that long ago, Karina was the bottom of our leaderboard. She's now found herself in 3rd place. 248k, over 40 big blinds now. 2 spots off the money. Quite the spinner.
Did you 3-bet free flop? You raised.
He just completed. He just completed, yeah.
Getting tricky.
Would have cost me more if I did.
Well, it might have
Maybe
cost you
not.
more. She might fold it. I don't know. I don't know either. Yeah, exactly.
One fold.
I'm not at the desperate stage yet to rip it all in. Lucky you, yeah.
Two folds. 3 folds.
And Duncan could go for this deal with this hand. He has been pretty snug so far as we're approaching the money. But he is going to put those chips to use. Going to open up the Jack-10 off from the cutoff.
5 folds.
Don't think Greg will be giving this one up. I imagine after the ace-king call last hand, we'd expect to just see this as a flat pre.
Six calls.
Looks like he does.
It's worth noting that this hand actually performs reasonably well as a 3-bet jam pre-flop, which is about the opposite of this. That's the only way to play it. May also be concerned of how snug Duncan has been.
Does have the best hand, however, it's going to be interesting if Duncan does decide to c-bet, which is what he does.
Yeah, Greg, a 74% favourite to win this hand at Showdown, but say he's significantly less than 74% to actually get it there. He's made the first call though. He's not ready to give it up just yet. It was a sizable bet too. It was just shy of half pot. It's floated with just the naked king high. Now that he's made that call, definitely could get this to showdown, and there's no way he's going anywhere now. River's the top pair, strong kicker. Question is, does he go for some value or self, or does he maybe give Duncan a chance to take a stab? He's going to check it over. Duncan cannot win this hand by checking, and he's going to have a pretty good idea of that.
Looks like he's reaching for chips.
30,000.
Mission successful for Greg.
And I think Greg
He's
is
induced
going
the
to
bluff.
be... Don't think he's going to be ever folding. It's a question of whether or not he can jam to get a call from a worst hand. Looks like he's made up his mind that he's just going to call, and he does.
Too good, mate. I know better.
I got there a little high.
Oh, wow. All that.
And
didn't
Duncan
believe
can't
you.
quite believe it.
Yeah, I don't think
didn't
Duncan
believe him
expected a call
yesterday,
from
but I
that
can
kind of hand on the flop.
Too good for me.
No, I'm on tilt after the previous.
Fine.
I actually don't mind the bluff on the river there from Duncan as played. It's just unfortunate. He's played it right into Greg's hands this time.
We've got 30 minutes after this.
Yeah, that's all that they're going to go. It's good. Get some food in.
It's not going to give us a lot of time on a Friday night to get food. At 6:20.
Oh, yeah, it's dinner time, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the restaurant upstairs will be
I
bad.
want to go to the sushi place, but I bet there's not a single
Mum,
sushi.
you big
That's a
one.
30-minute break.
Yeah, I asked them. They give us
You want to rest your bottom. Rest your bottom.
Yes. No, they won't. They must be. Because we need a
He
break.
wants a bottom break.
Yeah, bottom break. I might go
You might
find-
go buy a cushion.
I will.
Woolworths.
I will. I'm going to go to Woolies and buy
I've probably got a blow up one over there.
Yeah, I'll definitely get one. We'll see me with that.
Chair.
I know, but I don't think that makes difference for the cushion.
But then
does
your
it?
legs hit over the table.
Yeah, and then these legs are so like, yeah.
this
I don't
is
know how Martin's doing
too
it,
low.
but yeah.
I'm not that big, my legs are
No,
still
we-
below
yeah,
the
that's probably
table.
the same height, me and you.
Oh, your legs probably aren't as fat as mine.
Three-fold.
Yeah, and I might go to Woolies and buy a cushion. They have it there.
Four-fold.
Or even those little floaties they give the kids to swim with or something.
Oh, okay,
a big
mate.
one
All
of them
right.
or something.
Take it easy on me now.
Six-fold.
And Sabrina, blind versus blind. She could just jam this hand.
Decides against it.
But where Martin is really handcuffed by that bubble, he's not going to be able to call off anywhere near as light as he would like to otherwise. In fact, this Queen Jack of clubs I could just see going into the muck. In a standard blind versus blind short stack situation, that Queen Jack of clubs would be more than happy to call off the 14.
Fold.
Does
After
jam.
the limp,
a
he's
very
going to
good
go
fold.
ahead and jam himself.
Look at this one. Oh, no, that's...
Bartos asking on Twitch whereabouts Eatons Hill is. That is in the north suburb of Brisbane. We are going to be back in Sydney for a series. I believe we're going to be there in October. So definitely look around for the dates for that one. As soon as I have confirmation on those, I will let you know exactly when that will be.
Also, Neville, we do expect this to finish tonight. That is the plan. And it's down to a champion.
3 and
We will
4,
crown a DRACAKIS Players Champion. Award that ring, and we will award $39,000. Everything goes according to plan. Been a fair few of these pocket queens around, I feel, on this table.
6 raised to 8.
Greg's turn to have a go. And Jordan, this raise size
8 fold.
is not consistent.
It gives something away, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's almost like he's raised a different size now that he's picked up a really big hand. Strange. I wonder if that happens often, Jordan.
You and I both know that that is a regular occurrence here.
Very pretty hand for Gary. He may be a little bit suspicious of that sizing, but suited king 4 is a very pretty looking hand in the big blind.
Heads up.
It's going to take a flop. See how things proceed.
Alright, we're playing in the grind. Your buzzer recommends that 600, 1200, 1200 big blind ante. Dealers, shuffle up and deal, please.
Reasonably good flop for both players' hands, actually, but Gary way out in front. He's going to allow Greg to make a continuation bet.
Listen to the tape in 30 minutes.
6 best 20.
And I would love to see Gary continue with just a call here. Really want to just let the bluffs continue.
Oh, you push it iron backwards.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You made it. Yeah. 2 right to 50.
Right, let's go for the small raise here. I think I prefer to raise when we have a bigger king. We should raise some and call some.
Really?
The ones that can't beat another king will make more sense to try and leave the bluffs in. If we can beat another king, it makes sense to go for all of the value, and we can beat all the hands that continue.
50, yep.
Now, these pocket queens, don't imagine they'll want to fold for another 30k just yet. I've seen people do some pretty crazy things in spots just like this, with hands just like this in the past. Hopefully for Greg's sake, he's able to just find the call here and hopefully find a way to relinquish his hand and save the rest of it. Does just make the call.
6 4.
Only about a pot size bet behind. Absolutely nothing on that turn card. Like to see just a small bet here from Gary. Allow the pocket pairs of his opponents to call another streak.
Maybe even a check. But I don't think that's ever going to happen.
2 bet 36.
And dealers in the Poker Shop 300, please.
No, I really like this size.
You guys are now on a 30-minute dinner
Make sure
break.
you're able to extract that value from those pocket pairs. Don't give them a chance to check back and take the river. We set up a small SPR to jam
You are now going on
on
a
5th Street.
30-minute dinner break. All dealers for the Poker Shop, please stay at your table.
This is a really nasty spot here for Greg.
Set the table for
This is the perfect size bet to target a hand exactly like Greg has.
I'm just missing the outfit. Gotcha.
Give him a price that's
I'm just
too good to pass up on.
yeah. All the way. Just wait for the final table and then go on a sun run.
It's be an absolutely heroic fold if Greg is able to make it. That looming money bubble surely playing on his mind. And wow, he managed to get away from the queens.
Someone already
That's
told you I
a
never
huge
bluff.
fold for Greg.
Huge fold.
Well, I had to give it to you in the end. Huh? I had to give you that you had a king in the end. Nice hand.
Now, Jordan, I honestly believe that if we were in the money already, that's GG.
Yep, I agree.
Once I got caught bluffing and I lost the phone, I stopped. Yeah, I heard that story.
You got caught bluffing in 1985 and you never bluffed it. And you got $1 million of live earnings.
Rena is really hanging in there as well, battling these other guys. I believe she is the only female left in the tournament, so great to see her take this one down. She's got a lot of work to do still, though.
Some people think they're cameras.
13 chumps stand between her and that DRACAKIS jeweler's ring.
I think I bought them at Bunnings. I think Craig must use them in there in the dark.
4 fold. 5 fold.
Greg now with the suited ace.
6 raised to 17. 8 fold. 1 fold.
Dersham in the Twitch chat points out, Jordan, there might be one other lady left in the field.
Oh, is there?
Kai in the big
Oh
one
my
here.
goodness, I'm not even paying attention. I'm so sorry, Kai. Got me half asleep over here. I can't believe that.
Another one off.
Wow, that is terrible. That's terrible.
So absolutely card dead.
Kai's been sitting there not being able to deal with anything, having 0 spots, and here I am. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, everybody. That's awful.
Yeah, but if he hits the queen, you've got
Kai's probably going to come back and win it now. That Jordan guy.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Thinks he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, of course. How silly of me.
My goodness.
Yeah. Yes.
Any and all players going to play Flight C of the main event, please go on now, take your seats. We are about to kick this flight off.
5 raised to 16.
Well, I turned out to be the lucky one then, didn't I?
Kai's here with Ace Jack, going to open it up. 16k. Blinds are up, 4k, 8k.
Alright guys, everybody must know the whole card, so we go, where we do go in seat 1
6
has
fold.
25 of clubs.
8
Bell
fold.
has Jack 8. Jack 3. Breaks Ravenna is
Greg gonna go ahead and call the King Jack offsuit. King Jack is a hand that can get you into a lot of trouble against early position openers, and this is the perfect example of why that's the case. King Jack dominated by a lot of early position opening hands.
Diaper. Can't believe he doesn't know it's a diaper. 2-3 suited.
Wow, Gary's picked up a monster here on the button as well. Ace Queen suited. Does he elect a 3-bet? She just decides to take his position. Play the low variance option. Looks like he's counting out a
2
raise.
raised to 45.
It's a very small 3-bet.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
And fortunately for Gary, well, I'd say fortunately he's picked the smaller size, but he's going to be committed to pay Duncan off regardless. Duncan's turn with the queens.
And given the size, I don't think Gary is ever going to be folding here.
No, Gary's going to have a pretty good idea that he's well behind, but only another 55k to call. There's nearly 200 in the middle. He's just going to have to run this with the ace-queen suited.
95, 100.
All main event players, come on down. We're about to kick this flight off. We had 171 runners in Flight 1B last night. It is a $250,000 guaranteed tournament, folks.
I don't know what's taking so long.
Yeah, this is just a clear call. I mean, it's a 15 big blind jam. Not even that, just 12 and a half. It's a 12 and a half big blind jam. Your base being suited.
Yeah, you're already 3-bet.
Queens.
I mean, like, Duncan could show you kings, and you'd still call. His range isn't going to be exclusively aces.
This is a
We're very clearly getting the price.
Is not permitted. Please allow the dealer to do that for you. They will do that at the end of each betting round. If there is any issues at the table, the dealer will call me over and one of the 4 samples sorted out.
Duncan actually cheering for a fold here, I think. Even more than happy to just, yeah, I was just thinking that this is what if Alex Linsky was on the table, he would not be having this.
Clock.
Any vaping inside the room,
clock.
if you're caught vaping inside the room, you will be sent on an orbit immediately.
How about clock?
A second offense for vaping in the room, you will
Call him 55k to win 244k.
everyone in the room, coming up at 9:30 this
And we have ace queen suited. It's not like we've 3-bet There we go. We got there eventually.
Let's put it in. There we go.
Well, I hope one of you guys had an ace.
Looks like he knew that he was in rough shape, but
Clubs as well.
There will be food, there will be drink, and there will be
Duncan looking very likely to find a triple up here.
55 to play for a
Looking even
Very
safer
clean.
on that flop.
this evening.
And that turn. Not that river though.
Jordan. Good fold by me.
Jordan, my heart can't
What is going on with these river cards?
Gonna get it.
It's been 2 entire days of every imaginable
At
single.
ace jack. At ace jack. Yours is a, I think it's a call. It has
No.
to be.
Well, it's cost me 55.
River card go big, and this time really
I mean, you put in
hit
45
rail.
in there,
I really feel like Duncan deserves to just hold this. Justice for the nip roll from Gary. But no, not this time. What are these rivers?
Hold your big blind by yourself.
Got a couple more than Mark.
Live poker is rigged, Jordan.
Watch myself.
The rivers just can't hit every time like this. It just doesn't make sense. I've played a lot of hands of poker and the rivers never hit like this.
Duncan.
Ace on the river?
Yeah, one.
Good timing. You're picking up some hands.
No worries.
I was folding.
Alright, I'm going to stand up for a member of our feature table right now and say that Martin Ward paid his entry and he can do whatever he wants with his entry. He's done an amazing job, he's almost in the money, he's making really good decisions, and he's one of the regular final tablers here at this event, here at this series as well. Martin is a fantastic poker player.
It's always about that river, but
Guys in the Twitch chat,
river.
fortunately you're just going to have to watch him keep crushing.
Rate is 17.
I know I enjoy watching Martin play, and I don't think he has any desire to go anywhere either. Here he is with ace eight. Easy fold.
Yeah, out of the way.
Fold.
Well said, Corey.
Yeah.
You're welcome,
Jack
Jordan.
four. Yeah, you can say that.
As Karina takes that one down, shout out to all of the supporters up in Cairns of Karina. As we can see that Kai has been the least active player at this table. Going to showdown at the very least.
She's not really picked up any hands at all the entirety of our broadcast. There's the one ace queen where she maybe should have 3-bet pre-flop, and that's about all she's had. Now, we kind of glossed over it a little bit because of the sickness of that river while we gathered ourselves, Jordan, but 13 left. We're on the stone bubble.
Own Michael Bublé here. There is going to be a pretty huge difference between the person that busts. It's a $4,500 difference. You're either going to be losing that money or cashing for 3K, so definitely probably going to take quite a while to get into the money here. Got a lot of people playing very, very well on this bubble. Shout out Doc in the Twitch chat. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. No worries, Dershin. I'm just joking around. Got to stand up for my boy Martin though. As we see, play is going to slow down ever so slightly here, going hand for hand on both tables. So whilst things are happening on the outer table, we won't be able to let you know exactly what happens, but we will let you know in that top right of screen if we do get into the money.
Long bubble.
You know what, mate?
Hey Nikki, how you going?
No, you seriously sit on it.
As not only is Martin a great poker player, he's an amazing pillow thrower. Very accurate there.
They're not always being used, and you just grab one.
Right, thanks for that.
I get them out of the hotel room anyway.
I know, that's what I mean.
They don't bring them from home.
No, I can see it's not from home. Oh, so much.
That's the other thing is anybody here that's staying in the hotel, there'll be one in the room. You just got to ask somebody that's staying there and ask them if they'll bring it.
True.
Not the first time I've used hotel cushions when I didn't have it.
Yeah. You said you bought that online, didn't you?
I did. I bought it on Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah. It's not cheap. It's actually $210.
Oh, it looks very like a very good one.
Oh, it is very good.
Yeah.
And it folds up.
Yeah. Carry it easy. Yeah. Yeah, no, if you buy
Bruno
a $20 one,
Bruno and Nuno have got them. Yeah. Yeah, don't buy the light one. No. Because there's a lot. I've got a light one. Yeah. And it was useless.
Yeah, it would just sink in.
You hear the call of shuffle up and deal in the background. These guys need to be careful. Standing up behind the table like this, there was a very notable hand that was mucked during the World Series of Poker main event, where a player was standing away from the table and their hand was mucked. So whilst these guys are standing close by, they need to be a little bit careful. You see Gary here with the Queen do so. Does fold, as is expected. Yeah, probably half of Kansas railing for Karina, I don't doubt that. Really awesome poker community up there in the far north, as we see. Folded all the way to the blinds and straight through here, as we wait for action to conclude on the outer table. As always, guys, let us know where you're watching from. Let us know who you are supporting. We've got cheers for Duncan. We've got cheers for Karina. Cheers for Gary as well. Taylor wants to know the bubble strategy. I'll hand this one over to Coach Corey. How would you be playing different stacks on this bubble?
If you are Gary, you are putting the pressure on, foot on the gas. These guys aren't going to be able to do anything about it, apart from run extremely good and pick up monster hands. He's got nearly 600,000 chips in front of him. Put the pressure on. We've got some shorter stacks on the table. Martin being the shortest. He's going to be looking to try and hold out, find a double if he gets the opportunity. But everyone else is sort of going to be trying to sit back and wait for Martin to bust. Now, without knowing the stacks on the other table, I can't go into incredible detail about exactly how these guys should be approaching the bubble, but that is the general idea. Now, as Martin, we've kind of got to look at the situation and go, all right, we're the shortest. We probably are going to have to find at least a jam or two to keep ourselves afloat. We saw how long it took to go from 14 down to 13. It's going to be pretty tough for Martin to fold his way into the money. And remember, as he gets shorter and shorter, the other players in the tournament are going to decide to be more and more patient, waiting for those last few chips to be taken from Martin. So he is going to have to keep himself afloat. As the middling stacks, they're going to want to exercise a little bit of patience, a little bit of caution, preserve those stacks if they can. Keep an eye on Martin, and if there's any of the short stacks on the other table, see if those guys bust, start blinding out, or if they double, and start adjusting as those short stacks move.
6 call, turn.
Money bubbles and final tables, particularly complicated elements of poker tournaments. Very difficult to navigate. A lot of factors, and any one hand can drastically shift your strategy. You've got to be on top of things. You've got to be paying attention to everything going on. trying to keep an eye on the other table as well, so you have up-to-date information on the situation.
15.
And of course, it's a very, very tense time. Emotions can be running pretty high. The difference between busting now or busting next is $3,400. There's quite a few cool things you could do with $3,400.
What would you do with $3,400?
No, sorry.
I'd probably buy into the DRACAKIS Players Championship twice.
Really?
Yeah.
You'd buy into a freeze out twice, would you?
I'd find a way.
As it looks like the hand at this table was the one that took the longest, so we carry it right on. Gary with the 8-6 suited here.
Now, given what I was saying a moment ago, this 8-6 suited, even from under the gun, makes a great open.
To raise to
Love
20.
to see this from Gary. Keeping that pressure on.
3 and 5 fold.
Ace 9 on the button for Greg. Against an under the gun open from the chip leader. It's not going to be able to do a lot on this bubble.
6 fold. 8 fold.
It's going to get around to Martin. And Martin's found a hand he can jam. He is only starting this hand with 10 bigs.
This is a pretty close one. I mean, I know Martin's been up and walking around. He definitely knows exactly how many chips are on the outer table. So he knows whether or not he is the stone shortest stack in this event. And if that is the case, then this is just a clear jam. Definitely need to double check this thought process though. Yeah, you can see he's looking over. And I'm sure these guys have quite a bit of history with each other as well, so Martin probably knows exactly what Gary's going to be doing on the bubble in an event like this.
Now, even though Martin only starts this hand with, 11 big blinds, he actually has more fold equity than I think you would expect. We saw how long it took Gary to call getting a trillion to 1 with ace-queen suited before. He's going to know that Martin, when he jams here, means business. Martin's not going to be jamming here light. And, of course, Gary can be opening pretty wide. You see he's only got the 8 high here. I'm pretty sure a jam here is actually going to get through for Martin.
And the tanking as well, guys. Some of you guys might be thinking that this is unnecessary tanking, but if somebody busts out on the outer table and you're able to get a ladder, see he's looking around, double checking to see what the action's like. And this tanking is definitely worthwhile, and it's not against the rules. You can take as much time as you want. There's no shot clock in this tournament. This is all strategy.
Now, it is worth noting, this kind of situation is one of the few times in poker where it would make sense for someone on the other table to actually call the clock. I haven't seen it happen in the past. Yeah, and he does put the chips in. I think this is a good jam by Martin. Of course, it is going to be somewhat dependent on the other table.
Yep. There's quite a lot that goes into this decision, guys. It's not as simple as I've got ace-queen, I've got a hand that's better than my opponent's range, I'm going to put it in. There's so many other variables to take into account when you're on the stone bubble of an event like this. And 8-6 suited is never a hand that's going to be calling in this scenario, regardless of the amount of chips you've got.
Yeah, 88.
We saw, for lack of a better phrase, pretty bad call off with 8-6 offsuit yesterday. But I don't think 8-6 suited is going to be a hand that does put in a call here.
Of course, getting a good price, but you just know that Martin has a real hand here. He's not shoving here with something like pocket threes. He's not jamming here with something like ace 4 offsuit. Not going to be jamming here with something like jack 10. This is a real deal hand 100% of the time. Now, I would expect Martin to be the shortest here. If he was not the shortest, you would expect it to be even stronger. Average stack at the moment is going to be something around the 300,000 chip mark. So Martin significantly below average stack. But that's not to say it's impossible that someone on the other table could also be extremely short.
Liam, I already made that joke. Come on.
2 fold.
And we do
Martin
see
will
a fold eventually.
Sigh of relief there for Martin as he picks that up, getting back up to about 130k. 16 big blinds rather, for Martin. Just what he needs.
I'm not sure. I got the end of busted.
Have you?
Sure.
Well, you busted the last guy with a hand.
Yeah.
Glass up, please, guys.
Ace queen or something. Something like that. Maybe ace jack. I think ace king snacks. I think any pair. Maybe. No, small pairs don't bust you unless they actually hit. I think it was ace queen or ace jack.
3, 5 fold. 6 fold. 8 straight to 17.
And here we go again. Martin with another spot. Now, this one, he very clearly has plenty of fold equity in this spot. Again, in the absence of another very, very small stack, this would be a clear jam. 7's very strong. Just because it's a clear jam doesn't make it any easy to pull that trigger on the bubble. Again, $3,400 is the difference between busting 13th or 12th. Martin gets this shove through. He's back up to about 20 bigs.
One on in.
This is a great shove from Martin.
2 fold.
Green
Two in a row.
Shove
Just like
it.
that, Martin.
Shove it.
It's 20 bigs. He can breathe a lot easier
Two in a
now.
row and a free massage.
Yeah, obviously it's really tough to put your chips at risk on the bubble, but this is the benefit. Martin has very close to doubled his stack in the last two hands.
Enough.
He hasn't even taken a flop.
Glass up, please.
Well, I got more than I had.
What's the glass? 8.
That's the most I've had all tournament. I'm not joking. That's
No, I
the most
believe
I've
you.
had.
I
I've
believe you.
never,
I saw you from the.
I don't think
from the start.
I don't think I've ever got over 100 today or yesterday.
5 fold. 6 fold.
Sorry for the
8
quick
fold.
interruption there. Guys on Twitch, the stream should be back up and running now.
One fold.
No hand this time for Martin. Does find the fold.
Take a walk.
2 fold.
Mine was 30. No, mine won't.
Gary decides not to put pressure on with the 6-4 off.
should be the last one.
It is a pretty bad hand, but I wouldn't blame him for keeping his foot on the gas here. Kai isn't really in a situation where she can fight back too much. Now, it's worth noting here, I mentioned just before that average stack in the tournament at the moment is going to be around about that 300k mark. See, I believe it was only one player on the table at the moment, being Gary, our chip leader, is above that average stack. There's probably a few chips on that other table. So Martin, as the shortest stack on our table, very likely to be the shortest in the tournament. But he has made quite the spin to keep himself relevant, keep that stack alive.
And then walked out late.
$100 7-way main event flip. Two spots remaining.
The trophies are a bit lame. No, but they're not.
Also, guys, we do have the lockout starting at 6:30.
Did you hear about that? Adam Fagard won the last WSOP ring and got to go to Vegas and everything like that, and they went to get the ring out the cabinet and somebody had stolen it.
Wow.
It was the last one and it was gone.
In Vegas?
No, at the start. When he won the WSOP, do I mean WSOP or WPC or whatever? No, it was WSOP. Somebody had stolen the ring.
How can they steal it?
Somehow they managed to get it. Anyway, it was gone. They could not find it. It took them 3 months to make
in the casino.
A new one up. Yeah, in the casino.
You asked for the cameras. All
There's about a million cameras in there. You can't fight without being noticed.
Down the Gold Coast, and Adam won the event, and then they went to get the ring to present it to him when it was gone.
Maybe it was never in the box from the start.
Well, sounds like an inside job.
Maybe it's a hologram.
100% inside job. It's like, how the hell did you lose a ring inside the casino? You lose your wallet, they find it for you.
Oh no, that's not. I asked Churchy once. I said,
1 and 2 fold.
You know, they've got obviously all the chips, like in a cash game.
Yeah.
And I said,
so cool.
I'm assuming my bag and my wallet. He says, no, we'll tell you who took it, but it doesn't mean we can get it back.
5
He
check.
said, we'll have cameras that will be able to tell you who took your bag off the back of your chair and everything. But he said, we have got everybody watching, so that if we see somebody nick a bag, we've got a whole force there. So
hope you guys are enjoying theft stories with Martin here.
Safety of anything there. We'll just tell you who took
3
it.
and 5, check and check.
Which is typical Churchy.
As we see a little pot here. Ace, Queen, Deuce, turn 6.
Check.
That's right.
Check on the flop. Check on the turn. Somebody needs to bet something here, please.
8 5,
Yeah.
check and check.
Any bet.
I was hoping you're going to win that one.
How are you?
I'm like, there's no way I'm winning.
Guys really needed to bet there. I mean, he will win, but there are so many hands that he loses to. To be honest, neither of the players betting at any point here is...
Yeah, that's surprising.
It's pretty much just giving up the hand.
Alrighty, all players and dealers, your blinds are now 2,500, 5,000 with a 5,000 big 180. That's all players in the focus shot 300. Alright, jump up and deal.
How long left on that clock?
2 more hands.
2 more hands. Thanks, man.
After this, 2 minutes.
Yep.
Each hand, 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Yeah.
8 fold.
Once again, 9-5. Dolly, no good for Martin. Gonna pass. Over to Kai now with ace 9. 25 big blinds.
3 raise to 16. 5 fold.
Long day, yeah. Come in a group. you did. I pressed you there.
This is interesting. Did not expect to see the defend here.
So there is
Greg?
a
Queen 4-0, huh?
What's it
We're going to give it a spin.
The reef. Oh, yeah. No poker.
Shem's like, try the live stream as an academic lecture from a professor. ABT.
There's no poker, obviously, in the
SpongeBob episode. But how good is SpongeBob? Just the best.
There's no drawing.
As we see the 5-6 deuce flop. Kai going to bet this one. Greg does have a gut shot, so he may find a peel.
They don't make any money out of it. The only way they make money is through crack.
I know that a check raise here would be pretty spicy. I don't think he's going to do it. Oh, does just call.
Is it an up-to-date casino? So they have
Would have been a flop that could potentially have a big blind donk lead, but it's not going to be necessary because Greg is going to turn a pair here. Now ahead.
Check.
That's a hand one.
Three check. River.
Yeah, I like the gamble. That's why I'm wondering what type of, I like the old style where they have the shoe and you just,
Check.
I know Canberra has those ones still. Canberra is very bad casino. I've been to the Canberra.
And Kai just has to show it down. She's going to see the bad news.
Terrible casino, that one.
The Queen 4-0 defender on the stone bubble is going to win this one.
Yeah, you walk in.
She put the money in the head.
Like 2 tables of,
Could not hold.
Yeah, like blackjack.
We're going to take down a nice little pot there.
Hardly any games going. Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm sure there is. Yeah, there's probably people up in Canberra. But yeah, my sister lives up there, so yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. It's cold there. Yeah, from Cairns to Canberra. Yeah.
Alright, both dealers, shuffle up a deal. Just the last thing to put, right?
One more after this. Yep.
This one and one more.
One more, yeah. After this.
Break. Yellow chip.
Oh,
So I think players were saying they are about to be heading on a break in 2 more hands.
And put the orange over there and then 5 minutes later I
You're supposed to be dealing. You're supposed to be dealing.
It's
said next hand.
Are you hungry?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
no.
am actually. I am.
I don't want to see him angry. He's angry.
Hungry.
Hungry or angry? Which one are you?
Angry.
Angry.
Oh, hungry and angry.
Oh, I get it. I get
It's
it.
my style.
Didn't realise people were going to get English lessons.
Always
here.
hungry.
Just for anyone that's not familiar with the hand-for-hand process, we don't often catch it on our broadcasts. With one player left to the money,
Oh, no,
we'll deal
on the button, I
the
haven't
same
put
number
that
of hands on each table. So we'll just do one hand at a time, knock a couple of minutes off the clock for each one
All
to
day.
keep it fair. This is just to prevent any stalling or any awkward situations like that. Give it a second, we'll just get this freeze up. There we go. We're on top of it.
A few more chips this time. Pretty good hand.
So we see another limp here from Greg. Karina just going to check the Jack 4.
Has a
One of my favourites.
Maybe we'll see Karina call off Jack High correctly here. No, 10 is going to make a pair. Karina the only one with a diamond, but I don't really think that's going to come into effect in this hand. So Greg is going to reach for chips to bet. And I think that will be all she wrote for this hand.
Imagine Karina probably wasn't particularly interested in this hand pre-flop, but she is be interested now.
It's a bit of a weird sizing. I think that's 2 big blinds here.
What is a favourite hand?
It's going to get the job done.
One of my favourites. Oh, I can't show the other.
Kai and Martin both hovering around that 20 big blind mark. Gary still a table chip leader with 527k.
last hand before the break.
And you heard the boss. Last hand before the break.
Last hand and then we have a break.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he said. Boss said so.
They're all angry.
Take it easy, Martin.
Someone get this thing in a bit.
Alright, call the security. It's this guy.
Alright, dealer, shop lava deal. Let's get this.
Let's get to some food.
Alright, I'll just make him an easy fold this one, hopefully. Easy fold, please, Kay.
Two raised to 18.
Gary with 5.
3 fold. 5 fold.
Open it up. 18k. Kais has never been more excited for a break in his life. He's going to get up on the table. Even finishes the hand.
8 fold.
And around to Martin.
There you go. Easy game.
And the easiest is now. Yeah, just like that, guys, we are going to head on a 30-minute break. So jump up, hydrate, stretch your legs, get yourself something to eat, because we are going to be going here all the way down to the end, I believe. Currently we are still on the bubble, but these guys are going to break that once we are back. And we'll see you guys in about half an hour.
See you later, team.
Disco bar. Bistro. Oh, bistro.